He was one of these individuals that had been involved in just about everything that was created by the Puerto Rican community here in New York.
I kind of think of him as the great communicator.
I love Federico.
All through his life, he was a teacher.
He actually was an organizer.
He's a pillar.
Everybody loves Federico.
To me, he was actually a born leader.
He's a historian.
He's one of these individuals that roots us deep into the community.
I can tell you many things about Federico, but I need about 2 or 3 weeks.
He is a person that gives.
You know, he's just Federico.
And we're ready.
I was born in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico in 1939, very, very poor. I had no gas, no electricity, no running water. I attended the public schools in the island, Cabo Rojo. When the teacher was absent in my high school, they used to call me, Federico Perez, report to the office. So what happened? No, you're gonna cover for Miss Sorrentini. I did not graduate. I used to cut sugar cane. I married when I was 18. The job situation was not that easy in Cabo Rojo. So I had a brother and a sister in New York City. I decided to try New York. And I came in 1958. I started to work in the supermarket. And I used to be a delivery boy. I worked 1 year. Then when I decided to join the union, they fired me. My father-in-law used to be working in a Gramercy Park Hotel. And he got me a job as a dishwasher. And then I was promoted to be a busboy. There was a vacancy. I decided to ask for a position. I was aggressive. I wanted to study. I wanted to go ahead. I took the GED. I passed the GED. 1965, I enrolled at Bronx Community College. And a new program was established in the Puerto Rican community called Puerto Rican Community Development Project. And we had 100 community workers throughout the city of New York. And I was chosen to be the community worker of Caborrojeños. I was able to help a lot of people, families, into the Medicaid and all those social programs.
The Bronx was actually having a lot of problems. Actually, the whole city had a lot of problems, I should say.
It was a family in those days. We were all together all the time. We kind of worked every single day.
You know, those were such wonderful years because we did the work for the community, but for me, it wasn't work. They were good times.
We were able to change the system.
I would call him a lieutenant in the army against poverty.
And I helped Ramones Velez in the first elections to establish Holmes Point Multi-Service Center. Then in 1970, Ramon Velez recruited me to come to the Bronx and work for him because he was planning to run for the U.S. Congress.
Ramon Velez depended on him as well.
And then in 1971, I went back to Manhattan as Deputy Director of the Puerto Rican Community Development Project. I was able to help a lot of people. We had to have ESL classes. We had to have GED classes. I was the only person in that agency that started as a community worker. I was community worker, director of manpower, deputy director, and executive director.
I used to love having him around me because I knew that his heart was in the right place and that he was going to be successful.
When I got elected, Federico was there to help me. We got so many other people elected. We made judges.
And then in 1979, Congressman Robert Garcia recommended me to work for the U.S. Census Bureau. I used to go to all the communities in Brooklyn, Spanish and non-Spanish, Jewish, Coney Island, all over. I was the voice of radio WADO, Guado, telling the people today is the day that we are going to start filling out the form of the U.S. Census. I returned to college. I graduated in 1976 with a bachelor. I got my master's in bilingual and urban education from Long Island University. I was given the certificate of teacher from 7 to 12 in Spanish and from nursery to 6th grade in the state of New York.
The fact that he went back to school to be able to get bachelor's degree, to get a master's degree, we were not supposed to be able to do that.
I used to be a director of a program with Bronx-based corporation that is part of now of our agency, Acacia. And a principal came to visit me from a special program for students who had difficulty in learning. And he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I am a director here." He said, "Well, you have a teacher's license. Why don't you teach?" So Ramon let me go, and I was a teacher with New York City Vocational Training Center for 10 years. They were special ed kids. So I used to encourage them at all time to succeed in life. I took a leave of absence, and I ran for the city council. I was elected to the city council in February of 1997. I lost the primary in September. I went back to school, and I became a teacher at PSA in the South Bronx, and I spent 12 years and 4 months there.
He wanted to be able to be part of the South Bronx. Went back to teach.
At that time also, I was working with Congressman José Serrano, and I worked for Serrano for 11 years. I saw Acacia growing, starting to develop with Hector and Raul, and they offered me a little mini job. I took it.
Federico was a natural, and we asked him, and he's been on the board.
And I think that this agency is the standard bearer of good things to continue happening in New York City. We had the best programs on board and the best staff. The preservation of Puerto Rican culture. That was my goal.
He has always had the Hispanic market in his heart.
I used to be very active in the community, and I used to recite poetry. I used to make speeches.
He was amazing. That guy could speak Spanish so good and influence so many people.
I founded Sociedad Cultural Puertorriqueña. I used to be a person that used to go to the libraries to talk about Puerto Rican culture and Puerto Rican Discovery Day.
Federico was committed to the Puerto Rican community.
Whether it was the Puerto Rican Day Parade, basics, whatever, all the things that were created, in some way Federico was engaged in that process.
I used to be a radio announcer. I used to have a little program, WBNX, every day at 12 o'clock. Federico Informa from the community.
What I've learned from Federico is to be loyal to my community, my people.
I was president of the Puerto Rican Folklore Festival, and I organized the first Puerto Rican art exhibition.
Federico is a true Puerto Rican. It's in his blood.
I organized the first Puerto Rican band concert in Lincoln Center in Danbrook Park. 5 Puerto Rican bands that came from Puerto Rico.
I see this pride of this Puerto Rican man who came here as a young man and believed in himself and believed in his culture and believed in his people.
Federico was very involved with the parade.
I was elected member of the board of directors of the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and in 1972 I was the coordinator.
People don't understand how much effort having such a large parade where almost 1 million people come in to see.
I was president back in 1974.
When Federico asked me to run the beauty pageant, I said, "Of course, Federico, I'll help you." It was like important to us.
In 1980, I was appointed president of the Puerto Rican Parade until 1986.
I've watched him at the Puerto Rican Day Parade and walks down that parade with that big smile. You know that he's happy and that he was proud of what he accomplished.
I used to go to Puerto Rico, have events there.
But even in Cabo Rojo, about 3 years ago, they had a parade, and he was the main personality.
That has been my life, promoting Puerto Rican culture. I have now 10 children alive. I had 12. I took care of all of them. I used to have sometimes 2 or 3 jobs to survive.
Let me tell you, great father.
I have 19 grandkids and 20 great-grandkids.
My son Ralph back then was like 4 or 5 years old. He saw Federico always with a jacket, well dressed. He saw him as a leader.
I know Federico also gives out scholarships and mentors a lot of youth.
Our boys need role models.
I envisioned that we would have all these kids grow up and become lawyers and doctors and business people. And Federico got involved in all these areas.
But I realized that if you mention Federico's name, people say, yo, we know Federico. We love Federico.
And Federico just did a great job in kind of talking and introducing and bringing people together.
He has this ability to connect the dots.
I am very happy to be part of Acacia Network.
There's no more of a significant person than Federico Perez to say to an organization, you're rooted in the community. He says that just by being present.
Federico was a gift to all of us.
I kind of take off my hat to this fellow who very quietly has actually performed, sometimes without being noticed.
He has given so much of his life to the betterment of the Puerto Rican community.
And there's a lot of people that owe him a lot of gratitude.
I wish there were more Federicos in this community. I don't know if we could get his genes and make one up.
So Federico has been an amazing human being. I love the man.
I can see the pride and the smile that he has that he was part of what he did.
Somebody loves him dearly and respectfully. It's me.
And I'm really very proud of Federico.
Hooray for Federico. He's great.
Federico Pérez es una persona que soñó y logró sus sueños de triunfar en la vida.